y'all. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of Grieving Gracefully with your girl, Sallie D. Isaac. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Today's episode is called Divine Separation. I know you're probably going through some things right now, not really understanding what it is that God is taking you through. And it could be that you're in your season of divine separation. Divine separation, the essence of biblical separation is to live for Christ as to shine your light in dark places in a fallen world. It is to be holy. It is to touch not the unclean thing. It is to refuse to follow the world's ways and thinking. It is to avoid being corrupted by the world. Now, when God started taking me through my divine separation, I had no idea like what was going on. Like I could tell little things, but I really didn't know what it was that he was doing. But I had already decided in my mind at the beginning of the year when me and my friends, we made a pact that we was going to start spending more time together after I lost my oldest son. Like we saw how precious life was. So we was like, we are going to start hanging out together. Now, mind you, these friends I've had for over 20 years since middle school. And we made this pact, and that's what we started doing. Whoever birthday month it was, we was making sure every single month that we was going out to eat or just, hanging together. And then summer came and we was doing a lake for the day. And right before that trip, God came to me and said, "This is your last trip with your friends." And I'm like, "My last trip?" I'm like, "Lord, I just said I was going to be outside. What you mean? I got to stop hanging out with my friends." So still, like, I had no idea why he wanted me to stop. So towards the fall of the year, like after we went on the trip, and then they started asking me to go places, it's like either I didn't have a babysitter, my husband had to work, like something always came up and I had to keep telling them no. And then October came around my birthday, and God told me to turn my closet into my prayer closet. So I did that. Cause it's like he had that on me for a minute for me to turn my closet into a prayer closet, but it like really came heavy in October. So I did that towards the end. November, that's when I made the decision. I said, you know what? I'm going to start reading the Bible. So I went on the Bible app and I found a plan where you can read the Bible in 365 days. And that's what I started doing. I started getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I started doing the plan and reading the Bible every single morning. And then also in November, that's November 2023, Grieving Gracefully. The name Grieving Gracefully was birthed when me and one of my mentors, we got together and we was trying to come up with a name because she already told me that I needed to go live and I need to tell my story because the way I grieve was different than other people. People were inboxing me, calling me through Facebook when they see me in the street, like they're talking to me and wanting advice from me on how to grieve based off of how they see me handle the passing of my son. But still, even with all of that happening, I still had no idea that God was separating me for what I'm doing here today. Like I still had no idea. But he started separating me from those things. And now I see why he was separating me because I can't be doing the work of the Lord if I'm still being of the world. How can I tell somebody about doing something if I'm still out there doing? How can I tell you to stop drinking if I'm still out there drinking? Because now today now I no longer drink. God had me give up drinking. So there's things that I had to give up. And then I wanted to read to you 2 Corinthians 6th chapter, 14th verse. It says, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness?" And verse 17, Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and not touch the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Now, I'm not saying that because he separated me from my friends was unclean, because my friends are saved. And I can go to my friends at any time for prayer, for a scripture when I'm in need, okay? And they're going to pray for me and give me scripture when needed. But I just needed to get quiet and get the only person I needed to hear from in that time was to hear from God, because where he was taking me and where he's still taking me. So can you imagine? I started going down and spending time with God every single day like I used to at 5 o'clock in the morning. And then next thing you know, I'm writing a book because I was obedient and I started reading my word. I made the prayer closet. I was going live telling my story. Then I actually did write a book that can help people the ones who was inboxing me, asking me for advice. I actually now have a guide to help them go through grief the way God helped me go through grief. And it started with that divine separation. So you might be in a place right now where God is telling you to get quiet. He's telling you maybe you can't hang around these people no more. Maybe you need to stop looking at this or stop going this place. Take heed to what you are hearing from him. Because when I tell you obedience is better than sacrifice, once I started reading the word, like for real, because y'all know how we do. We'll read the word on Sunday, and that's it. You won't see us read the scripture anymore throughout the week. We got it on Sunday in church, and that's it. But once I really got into the word and started reading it for myself, then I was like, oh, excuse me. Then I was like, oh, so this is how Jesus really was. Oh, God wasn't playing with them in the Old Testament. Y'all, when you start reading the Bible for yourself, you start getting a fear of the Lord. And you can see the good and you can see the bad. If you don't be obedient and he don't give you chance after chance after chance, then you start seeing the wrath. And the more I read, the more I wanted to be obedient and do what he says. I am big on being obedient. Because if he did them the way he did in the Old Testament, I don't want any parts of it. Start reading the Bible for yourself. I'm going to always tell you to start reading the Bible for yourself. Take a few minutes out of your day and start reading the Bible. You can do like I did. You don't know where to start? Pick a Bible plan. They have more than one in the Bible app. It's the Brown Bible app. And it's on iPhones and it's on Android. And go to plans once you sign up and pick a plan to read the Bible in 365 days. I promise you, it's gonna bless you. Once you start reading, you're gonna start separating your own self. You're gonna start separating yourself and realize that there are people who you can no longer hang around. Because that happened with me. People who I used to hang around, I no longer hang around. I still hang around with my friends of 20 years. But people that are still of the world and still living that life, I can't hang around them because of where God has me. Everybody can't go. And that's what I learned in my separation. I've learned to be okay with people not inviting me to places. I became okay with people not calling and texting me because when God starts separating, you can't have all the noise. You can't be going to all these different parties. You can't be around drinking. You can't be around smoking. Like, you can't be around those things. And the more you read the Bible, you're going to want to start living you're going to want to live the way that Jesus lived. And that is really, I look at the way that Jesus lived as a guide. And I still read the Bible to this day. I still do read the Bible. Like every year since then, this started in 2023, it's now 2025, and I do go back and pick a new plan and start reading a new plan at the beginning of the year. Because every time I read the Bible, I find out something new. I learn out something new for myself. And a lot of times, God will show you things in the Bible that you need. So make sure when you are listening to God, make sure that you being obedient to what He is calling you to do, because you never know what He's calling you to do. Did I think that when I lost my child in 2022 that I would be here on a podcast? No, I hated speaking. You hear me? I hated speaking. I failed public speaking in college on purpose. I had to take it twice. I did on purpose because I did not want to stand in front of people and speak. And to think now that I did this on purpose, and now God has me speaking to y'all. God has me speaking at conferences. God has me speaking on other podcasts. And I've been on Christian TV shows telling my story of how I grieve gracefully. And it started back when God separated me. When He separated me, got me alone, got me to start reading my Bible for myself, and I started being obedient to His word. Because when you get quiet and you get in that divine separation with Him, you will know the difference when you hear His voice. Because if you're not spending that time, that quiet time with Him, you can miss His voice. Sometimes people will be, you'll be out and about, or you're not reading your word, you're not spending that one-on-one time. I'm like, Lord, I ain't hear from you in a minute. But you forgot what His voice sounds like because you're not spending that time with Him. Or you're on social media so much and it's a lot of different pastors and you don't know which is real. Why? Because you're not spending that alone time with God so that you can have discernment, so you know who you're hearing from. You'll know which pastor is of God and which one is not of God. And it comes from spending that alone time, separating yourself. It says, "Wherefore be ye separate, saith the Lord." So if the Lord wants to separate you, there is something bigger that is coming for you. I've written a book, all because I was obedient and I went into divine separation with the Lord. I launched my book 1 year, no, 2 years. Yeah, I just wrote the book December last year, where I published it December 28th. And it launched on December 28th, 2022. It launched December 28th, 2024, 2 years after the passing of my son, like on the date. And when I tell you, that is not the day I wanted to launch. I wanted to launch on my birthday, October 29th. That's when I wanted to. And then I said, maybe his birthday. His birthday is December 21st. And the Lord was like, no, you're going to do it on December 28th. Now, why would I want to do that on December 28th? That's the day that I felt like was the worst day of my life. I lost my oldest child. Why would I want to release a book on that day to remind me of that? And then God gave me the revelation. He wanted to make the day that I thought was the worst day of my life, He wanted to make it one of the best days of my life. So even though I lost my child on that day, I also became an author on that day to help other grieving moms grieve gracefully. To help, whether you're a grieving mom, whether you're an aunt, uncle, you may not have lost a child, maybe you just lost any loved one. God has pushed me to help you. And it all started with divine separation. I pray this episode bless you. I pray that you all have an amazing day on purpose.